Hello everyone. So today, as you can see, today we will be seeing what is Lambda. And this is a serverless section of the course. And in this section, we will just learn the theory of Lambda. Then we will go ahead with creating some how to create a Lambda and how to create an API gateway trigger also with it. So whenever you talk to Alexa, you're talking to Lambda. You're talking to the cloud. When Alexa responds back to you, that is the cloud talking back to you. So before we go on to discuss what Lambda is, let's take a bit about the brief history of cloud. So we used to always have data center, and mostly all organizations had their own data centers. They were all physical hardwares. So what does it mean? It means that it takes time to procure a data center, because you are ordering a physical data center, you have physical server you are ordering, you are placing the order, it will be coming to you. It will take some time for transportation, for the order to get placed, and for the payment and all everything. So then Amazon came in and launched EC2 instances in the year 2006. So you could provision a virtual machine using a simple API code. So EC2 was launched in 2006. That was infrastructure as a service. Then they moved on to platform as a service, which you can take an example of Elastic Beanstalk. This is where you upload your code and the public cloud provider will provide all the infrastructure. Then containers came into picture in 2014. Containers then moved on further to serverless. That's the full evolution of cloud from physical servers to just focusing on your code. So, what is Lambda? Basically, an invention of serverless technology. In infrastructure as a service, it still runs on virtual machine and physical machines. So we have to worry about what the operating system is doing. In Lambda was reinvented in 2015, where it did not have to manage data centers, infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service also. All you have to worry about is your code. So what is Lambda? It is basically an encapsulating data centers inside your hardware, inside which you have your assembly code or protocols, inside which you have your high level languages, inside which the operating systems are there, under which you have your application layer or AWS APIs, under which the AWS Lambda resides. So basically, AWS handles all of these things for you. All you need to worry about is your code. So AWS Lambda is a compute service where you can upload your code and create a Lambda function. AWS Lambda takes care of provisioning and managing the servers that you use to run the code. You do not have to worry about operating system, patching, scaling, and other things. And you can use this AWS Lambda in the following ways: as an event driven compute service, where AWS Lambda runs your code in response to events. These events could be changes to data in an Amazon S3 bucket or an Amazon DynamoDB table. And you can also run in as a compute service to run your code in response to HTTP requests using Amazon API gateway or API calls made using Amazon SDKs, AWS SDKs. So this is one of the use cases. Here, our user wants to create a meme and upload the same to S3. After it uploads to S3, it triggers an event, and this is the Lambda function. So this is the Lambda function. This function then stores the image in S3. Lambda event might trigger another Lambda event, which basically returns the image location of the new file back to the user. So Lambda event can communicate with other Lambda events as well as other AWS services. And the great thing about Lambda is it can scale automatically. Here is another use case in web applications. I could have shown you the practical implementation of it, but I'm very sorry because I do not have any website present at the moment so that I can practically show you in here. So here what we are doing is we are creating the Amazon means I'm just giving you an example means how we can do it. It is like we got our user and our user wants to go to a website. They don't know what the IP address is, and that's where Route 53 comes in, and essentially our user sends a query across Route 53 and is going to respond with the bucket address for our website. Our users will then go to our S3 bucket and will go to one index.html. Let it be you can say as a static website, and one static page will open in there, and there will be a button which will then click to push to dynamic get content. The Lambda function will then take the data and then return the result to our API gateway, which will return the result to our user, or it will store the user as in here, it will store in DynamoDB as in the example shown in here. So what are the benefits of AWS Lambda? In here, you do not have any servers to manage. There's no need of any DBA. There's no need of any network admin, any sysadmin. Just focus on your code. Continuous scaling. Automatically, it scales your application by running code in response to each trigger. It is very cheap also. With AWS Lambda, you are charged for every 100 milliseconds your code executes and the number of times your code is triggered. Consistent performance. You can optimize your code execution time by choosing the right memory size for your function. And these are the languages supported by Lambda. Those are Node.js, Java, Python, C#, Go, PowerShell. So let us just go to our AWS Management Console and see how we can create a Lambda function and how the trigger and all everything works. So here we are in our Management Console. Where do we find Lambda? It is under compute. So under compute, let us create a function. This will be the Lambda function. And here we have author from scratch, use a blueprint, and browse serverless app repository. Use a blueprint, it is used for your Alexa skills and all. You do not need to know how to program. So let us go ahead with author from scratch. Let us give the function name as my first Lambda function. And the runtime, let me select the runtime as, you can see how, as I told you earlier, what all languages that is supported. Ruby is also right now it is supporting. So from here I will be taking Python 3.6. From the permissions, you can see create a new role with basic Lambda permissions. Use an existing role, create a new role for AWS policy templates. Let me go ahead with AWS policy templates. From here, let me give my role name as my Lambda role. And from here, let me take simple microservice permissions. And let me create the function. This might take some while for the function to create. So in here we got our designer where we got all the different triggers. So what is going to trigger our Lambda function? You can see how many triggers are there: API gateway, AWS IoT, Alexa skills. Likewise, you have your load balancers, CloudFront, CloudWatch Log, SNS, S3, SQS, and many more. After, here we got our function code where we can write our function codes, and this is our integrated development environment or IDE. And down in here we got, let me first of all in my function code, let me state this code. So in this code, what it does is a response code of 200 will be returned if this code executes successfully and with a particular header and a body. So essentially, if something triggers this code, it will return the result as infra experts. So down we have our key environment variables. This is a way of passing variables info into your Lambda function. You can define static code in here. Then we got our tags. If you want, you can create your tags. In the basic settings, you can see that Python runtime is been used. AWS X-ray, that is not been, means it doesn't come under solutions architect exam as of now. So if you want, you can enable active tracing to record timing and error information for a subset of invocations. VPC, if you need, if you can configure your own VPC. Then concurrency, you can place your concurrency, if you can reserve the concurrency in here. So these are the things you can maintain from here. In execution role, let me go. Which is under basic settings. You can create a new, you can choose an existing role, or you can create a new role for AWS policy templates. So this is basically our IAM role, and in here let me give the description for this, for the as my first Lambda. And the timeout here, the timeout means how much time the Lambda function will take will execute before falling out. And let me just save it. One more thing you need to do is, as I put this thing in here, you need to save it from here. You need to save the function code, but simply saving this won't do. You need to save it from the top right hand side, the save button also. So let me save my code. Whatever changes you make in here, you need to save it from there. So let us create the trigger. We will be going ahead with our API gateway. Create an API, and let me choose the API type as HTTP API, and let's take this as REST API. And security, let me take this as IAM settings, IAM security, and no need of changing any other parameters. And let me create the trigger. So my trigger is currently, it is being creating, and right now it has been created. So let us click on the trigger. So this is our trigger being created, and if I open this, you can see missing authentication token and it is not opening. Let me check with my description. So right now I am in my API gateway, and you can see in here this diagram is very simple. And what it does is that after we got our client in here, and they are sending a request. They are sending a request through here. this request right now is any. As you can see in here, this request is right now any, and this is going through a proxy to our Lambda function. Then our Lambda function is going to respond and proxy it back to our client. So what I will do it first in here is that I will delete this method. So this method is getting deleted. So right now it is deleted. So let me create a new method and give in here get. The integration type, let it be the Lambda function, and use Lambda proxy integration. Let it be this. Let me see where I created my Lambda function. It is in Northern Virginia itself. So I need to, this should be in Northern Virginia, which is US East one. So this is fine. And my Lambda function, if you write anything in here, X, Y, Z, C, if you write X also, something related to this, if you type, it will come. Some letters related to this will come. Use default timeout, that also is fine, and let us just now save it. You are about to give API permission to invoke your Lambda function, and this is the ARN. So right now this is getting saved, and this has been saved right now. Now what we need to do is we need to deploy this API. Deployment stage, let us take it as default and just deploy it. So from here, let us go to here and make sure you click on get, and from here and then click on this invoke URL. You can see my infra experts is loading. You need to make sure that you click on get in here and invoke URL. So like this, your function will fetch the query. So let us I cannot proceed further with this because I don't have my website still present. So this is a basic practical session on your API gateway as well as your Lambda and how you can enable API gateway trigger with your Lambda function. So what is the pricing? How you get charged for your Lambda for using Lambda function? The number of requests and the duration, these are the two factors which you need to take care. So in the number of requests, if the first 1 million requests are free, after which $0.2 per 1 million requests gets charged, and for the duration is calculated for the time your code begins executing until it returns or otherwise terminates, rounded up to the nearest 100 milliseconds. The price depends on the amount of memory you allocate to your function, and you are charged a meager amount of $167,667 for every GB second used. And what all things you need to remember for your exam before you go in regards to Lambda. Lambda scales out automatically, but it does not scale up automatically. Lambda functions are independent, so one event is equals to one function. Lambda is serverless. Lambda functions can trigger other Lambda functions, so one event can trigger multiple Lambda functions. Architectures can get extremely complicated. As you saw there, AWS X-Ray allows you to debug what is happening. Lambda can do things globally. You can use it to back up S3 buckets to other S3 buckets. You need to know your triggers, how many triggers are there. But you need to know, or you need to also know what services can trigger Lambda. DynamoDB can trigger Lambda, but RDS cannot trigger Lambda. And you need to remember the Lambda's duration time is maximum of 5 minutes. Different languages available in Lambda, those also needs to be known. So that is all about our session, Lambda serverless session, which I could cover. Pardon me for I couldn't cover in details since I do not have any website with me as of now. So thanks a lot for watching this video, and if you like my work, please do like, subscribe and share the video. Thanks a lot. Take care.